Welcome to Binge Eating Reset. You've now reached step 18. And maybe, just maybe, you're starting to notice that something is beginning to change. Maybe you're finding it easier to pause before you eat. Maybe you're recognizing your triggers a little sooner than you used to. Maybe you're noticing earlier that something else is going on besides physical hunger. And yet, at the very same time, something completely different can start happening. Just when you're no longer reaching for food automatically, it can suddenly begin to feel a little scary. Almost as if you're losing something. And maybe you don't even fully understand that feeling. Because after all, you really do want to stop binge eating. So why does it sometimes feel as if you're being asked to let go of something that you're not quite ready to live without? That's exactly what we're going to talk about today. Because maybe you're not actually trying to hold on to the food itself. Maybe you're trying to hold on to the feeling that food gave you for so many years. A lot of people think that food cravings are only about food. That the whole problem is simply, I eat too much. But most of the time, that's not really how our brain works. Because food may have been there for you, for years, during the moments when you needed something. When you were exhausted, when you felt sad, when you were overwhelmed with stress, when you felt lonely, when everything simply became too much. Food may have given you something that you couldn't find anywhere else in those moments. Maybe it gave you a sense of peace. Maybe it gave you comfort. Maybe it gave you a little escape. Maybe, for just a little while, you didn't feel quite so empty anymore. Or maybe you simply didn't feel so tense. And the more often your brain experiences that, the stronger that connection becomes. Not because you're weak, not because you don't have enough willpower, but because your brain discovered something that worked, at least in the short term. Now, think about it this way. Imagine a child who always holds a teddy bear whenever they're scared. That teddy bear doesn't solve the problem. It doesn't make the fear disappear. But it does make the child feel safe. Now imagine someone suddenly says, from today on, you're not allowed to hold your teddy bear anymore. That wouldn't feel safe at all. Not because the teddy bear actually solved anything, but because, over the years, it became connected to a feeling of safety. And that's exactly what food can become, too. And that's why changing can feel so much more difficult than people think. Because you're not only trying to eat less, you may actually be saying goodbye to something that helped you get through difficult emotions for many years. That doesn't mean food was the best solution, but it was a solution. It was the solution your brain found back then. And that's nothing you need to be ashamed of. Maybe you recognize that, after a long and stressful day at work, after an argument, after receiving bad news, after a difficult or stressful appointment, after spending an entire day taking care of everyone else, or maybe late at night, when everyone is finally asleep, that's when the urge appears. And maybe you think your body is asking for food, but sometimes, your brain is actually asking for safety, for peace, for a moment to breathe, for comfort, and for many years, food was simply the fastest way to get there. And that also means that overcoming binge eating isn't just about eating less. It also means slowly discovering new ways to give yourself that same feeling of safety. And that takes time, far more time than most people allow themselves. Because so often we expect ourselves to wake up tomorrow and suddenly be strong enough. But you can't replace a pattern that has been there for years in just a single day. You're building something completely new, one small step at a time. And that's exactly why I don't want you to change anything today. I'm not asking you to stop the urge. I'm not asking you to correct yourself. I'm not asking you to try even harder. Today, I simply want you to observe. That's all. Later today, grab a notebook, or simply open the Notes app on your phone, and gently ask yourself these questions. When do I reach for food the most? What usually happens right before that? What am I really feeling? And if I'm completely honest with myself, what am I hoping food will give me in that moment? Is it peace, comfort, distraction, numbness, connection, a sense of control, safety? Write down whatever comes to mind. There are no right answers. And there are no wrong answers. And maybe you'll notice that more than one answer comes up. That's completely normal. Because binge eating is very rarely about just one emotion. More often, it's several different feelings that keep showing up again and again. The purpose of this exercise isn't to change yourself today. The only purpose is to help you begin to see it. Because once something becomes visible, you can eventually begin to change it. But what stays invisible often keeps repeating itself automatically. Maybe you'll discover something you never expected. Maybe you don't mainly eat when you're feeling sad, but when you're feeling completely overwhelmed. Or after you've been trying to be perfect all day. Or after you've spent the entire day putting everyone else before yourself. Those are incredibly valuable discoveries. Not because they solve the problem immediately, but because, for the very first time, you begin to understand where your binge eating urges are really coming from. And maybe, while you're doing this exercise, you'll notice a little bit of resistance, too. Maybe you're thinking, I already know all of this. And that's okay, but knowing something, and truly seeing it, are two very different things. It's often only when you write it down that you start recognizing patterns you never noticed before. So today, be curious. Don't be hard on yourself. Don't judge yourself. Don't aim for perfection. Just stay curious. Ask yourself this one question. What is my brain actually trying to do for me? Because even the urge to binge eat, the urge you've wanted to get rid of for so long, is actually trying to solve something for you. It's just doing it in a way that no longer helps you today. And today, I want you to remember this one sentence. Maybe you're not trying to hold on to the food. Maybe you're trying to hold on to the feeling that food gave you. Take a moment to really let that sink in. Because that one realization alone can change so much. Sometimes, understanding yourself is the very first step toward changing yourself. In the next video, we're going to take this one step further. Because even if you understand why food once made you feel safe, your brain can still keep longing for it. Why does that happen? And why do those cravings sometimes keep coming back, even when you're truly motivated to change? What is your brain actually trying to do? And why can those old patterns still feel so incredibly powerful? That's exactly what we're going to explore together in the next video. So when you're ready, continue with Why Your Brain Keeps Craving Food. Binge Eating Reset 19. And if you're finding these videos helpful, don't forget to subscribe and follow the complete Binge Eating Reset series. I'll see you in the next step.